Hello and welcome to this lecture of limits. In this lecture of limits part 2, we are going to see some additional limits, how to solve these kind of limits and the application. So we are seeing something called as polynomial functions. So all these kind of functions are called polynomial functions. Now if a limit is provided, a limit is given to polynomial function, then how do we evaluate it? Let's see that. So all that we have to do in this case is just substitute the value of this limit. That's it. Once we do this, what we get is 4 into 27 minus 2 into 9 minus 3 plus 1. So the answer that is going to come is 88. So basically, any kind of polynomial function, let us generalize this. Let's say we have a polynomial function as a0 plus a1 x raised to 1 plus a2 constant x raised to 2, so on, plus an x raised to n. If this function, if we apply the limit x tending to a over here, then ultimately all that we have to do is apply limit to all of them. Now this being a constant, it remains the same because there is no x term over here. However, a1, a raised to 1, a2, a square, and so on. This will keep going, and then an x raised to an, a raised to n. This is what we'll get, and that will be f of a finally. So that will be the value of this function. Or when we apply the limit, then this will be the value of that limit. So it has to be written in this way: limit x tending to a f of x, the value of which would be this. Let's take another example. Now we've been given a combination of two functions. So basically the two functions are combined and now it is replicated, or it is given as one function. So if I take 2 as the point, then to the left of 2 the function is defined this way, and at 2 it is defined as 2x plus 3. So to the left of 2 and at 2 it is defined as 2x plus 3, and to the right of 2 it is defined as x plus 5. So let's apply the limit. The left hand limit is going to be limit x tending to 2 minus. So when I say 2 minus, it means approaching the 2 from left hand side, which is going to be written as 2x plus 3. And this is nothing but limit h tending to 0. So in place of h, I'm going to put 2 minus h, that is to the left of 2, where h is now tending to 0 because h is a very small value. And now this comes out as limit. So when we apply h equals to 0, put value of h as 0, what we get is 4 plus 3, that is 7. That is what we get. Now let's do RHL and check. So this is going to be limit x tending to 2 plus x plus 5, which is limit h tending to 0, 2 plus h plus 5. So put h as 0, and then what we get is 7. So clearly you can see that LHL and RHL both have the same value, and the answer that we get is, since LHL is equal to RHL, what we get is, we can conclude that limit exists. Not only that, the value of the limit is 7. That is the answer to this question. Let's take another example. This time we have to check whether this limit exists at x equals to 1. So what we do is, first we will take LHL. So LHL is limit x tending to 1 from negative side, which is going to be defined as this, that is 1 plus x square. Now over here, what we're going to do is, we're going to put x tending to 1, I'm sorry, in place of x, we're going to put 1 minus h, where h is tending to 0. Here we're going to put 1 minus h because we're talking about the left value. So to the left of 1, we're taking a value which is 1 minus h. To the right of 1, we're taking the value 1 plus h, which is to the right of h. So put h as 0, and what we get is 2. Similarly, RHL, if we try to find limit x tending to 1 plus, that's going to be 2 minus x square. It's going to be limit h tending to 0, 2 minus of 2 minus, sorry, 1 minus h the whole square. Now put h as 0, and what we get is 2 minus 1. I'm sorry, this is going to be 1 plus h because we are approaching 1 from the right hand side. It's going to be 1 plus h. Now put h as 0, and what we get is 1. You can clearly see that LHL in this is not equal to RHL. And if they are not equal, that means the limit does not exist. Let us take one more example now, which is given as, the function now is given as mx squared plus n, and the other combination is given as nx plus n. This definition is a slightly longer definition because it is given as at 2 points, nx squared plus n. Now this is specified when x is less than 0. Second one is specified when x lies between 0 and 1. And beyond 1 is the last one. So we have to find the values of m and n such that the limit at 0 and limit at 1 exist. So these limits should exist, and provided this happens, we have to find the value of the limit at this point. So it's already given to us that the limit will exist. Considering this, we have to find the value of m and n. Now let's take the first case. Now if limit at 0 has to exist, then limit x tending to 0 minus fx should be same as limit x tending to 0 plus fx. So all that we have to do is equate the left hand and right hand limits. Now to the left of 0 it is defined as limit h tending to 0. So what we're going to take is, we're going to take x as, for LHL, x is going to be 0 minus h. For RHL, x is going to be 0 plus h. That is the difference. So it's going to be m 0 minus h the whole square plus n is equal to limit h tending to 0 n into 0 plus h plus n. Because to the left of 0 it is this definition, to the right of 0 it is this definition. So put h as 0, and what we get is m plus n is equal to, so the first thing that we get from here is n is equal to m. On the left hand side we're going to get n, and on the right hand side we're going to get m, because this is turning out as 0, so it will go. So this is the first equation that we get. Now let us do the same process at 1. So limit x tending to 1 from negative side fx would be equal to limit fx x tending to 1 from the plus side. So this is going to be like nx plus m limit x tending to 1 from negative side. This is going to be limit x tending to 1 from positive side, and x squared plus n. So finally this is going to be n 0 1 minus h plus m, where limit h is tending to 0. This is equal to, so this is what we are looking out for. Limit h tending to 0 and 1 plus h the whole square from this side. So put h as 0 and what we get is n plus m is equal to n plus m. Now, since we are getting these two equations, on this side we have something like this: n plus m is equal to n plus m. And the first equation that we got is n is equal to m. So from this we can conclude that n and m belongs to integers, and it can be any possible integer. It's going to work out for all the integers. That is the answer to this question, because we are not getting a specific value of n and m after solving the two equations. So it is valid for all integers. Let's take another simple question. It says that the limit of this function exists at x equals to 3. So if this is the case, then limit x tending to 3 minus fx should be equal to limit x tending to 3 from positive side fx. So basically 6x minus 6 limit x tending to 3 minus is equal to limit x tending to 3 plus 2x minus k. So for that value, you have to find the value of k for which the limit will exist at 3. Now let's go to the next step, and that is limit h tending to 0. In place of x, I'll be substituting here 3 minus h minus 6. And over here, I'll substitute, in place of h, I'm going to substitute 3 plus h minus k. So put h as 0 and what we get is 18 minus 6 is 12 on this side. This side is going to be 6 minus k. So k comes out as minus 6. That is the answer to this question. So here we take another problem. It's given to us that limit x tending to 1 f of x is equal to f of 1. Now this part is given to us, and what we have to find is, if this is true, this particular concept is true, then we have to find the values of a and b. Now going by this rule, we know that f of 1 is 4. So it's already given to us that limit x tending to 1 f of x, the value of that is 4, which means that LHL should be equal to RHL, and it should be equal to 4. Only then this should be valid. So first let us take LHL. So LHL would be, let's straight away take h tending to 0, a plus b into 1 minus h. This is equal to 4. Put h as 0 and what we get is a plus b is 4. This is 1. Second, we are going to write limit h tending to 0, b minus a into 1 plus h is equal to 4. So put h as 0 and what we get is b minus a is 4. Now looking at this, we can clearly state that a is going to be 0 and b is 4. These are the values of a and b.